Splines will save the world. Or at least, my world. Actually, it's extremely cringe to call this my world since I have a life, but splines will save my game. What is a spline? It's what you're seeing on the screen. You can transition between points based on handles on each point that dictate the math that defines how you transition from point to point. Pointedly, when you don't use splines, your game looks like this. Blocky, rudimentary, ineffective. Unconvincing that this is actually a world. But these blocks, or static 3D models like this, are required for some things. Buildings, platforms, points of interest. Blocks are for indie games. Also, Nintendo is obsessed with blocks. I love indie games, but look at this one here. Sharp edges. There's a game world, and then everything else is just supporting that. This isn't to say that I won't have blocks. My last video had blocks in droves. It's just the splines will put meat on the bones of my levels. Here's how. Here you can see the minecart tracks in Million Hole Mountain. You can walk along them, you can send minecarts along them, you can also drop items on top of the minecarts like so. These tracks are made with 3D splines. When I move one point, the mesh reacts and gives everything an organic feeling, like it was constructed this way from the beginning. So this is a prop in the world, but what if we used it to design the map itself? Enter caves. Caves will connect various passageways in Million Hole Mountain, and combined with world space texturing, we can create infinite rocky passageways. World space texturing disregards the local space on the mesh and applies the textures procedurally. You can see if I pull on the model what I mean here. At some point during the development, I'm going to need to get a vertical slice of the game out. The first version of this game will include Million Hole Mountain and a beta Blind Town with no other zones built out. So I'm pouring heavily into techniques to speed up the development of the ideal mountain. But to get from Blind Town to Million Hole, we will need splines. Specifically, we'll need a spline bridge. As a loading zone between Blind Town and Million Hole Mountain, splines will deform a bridge mesh so that the shape of the bridge doesn't have to stay static. If you hard model that and then change the map, you must change the bridge later. The amount of work to go back to your 3D software, guess and check to see if the changes will suffice, re-import, it's all a headache. Indie development has to move fast, so this is the best way for me to create infinite variations with minimal work. Keep an eye out for more videos. Comment below with any ideas I can apply my spline technology to so that I can spend less time making this game and more time with my God-given family.